What's going on, everybody? Every month I try really hard to take a look at what are cards selling for at the under $50 mark. And the reason I chose $50 is not because the price matters. It's not about cards and values and all that. There are a lot of people out there who say all the time, I didn't get into vintage for a really long time because I thought it was unaffordable. I didn't think I could buy Hank Aaron's and Roberto Clemente's and Mickey Mantle's and Willie Mays and all of these all-time greats if I were to get into vintage. I thought I would only be able to buy the guys that are non-Hall of Famers, lower tier type players, and that's not the case. You can absolutely buy really cool cards of really great players, some of the all-time best, for under $50. And that's the main reason that I like to do this video every month, is because most of us aren't buying $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $20,000 cards. Most of us have a budget that is much smaller than that, and we want to be involved. We want to buy cards. We want to participate in the hobby, and the hobby is for everyone, not just the people who can afford those super expensive cards. So I love to do this video for that reason, but there are more reasons. Another reason is I like looking for trends. I like looking to see, is there something new that's kind of happening that wasn't happening in the past months? If I revisit this every month, and every month I look and I go, what happened this month compared to last month, compared to the month before, you can start to see trends develop. If you're constantly paying attention to something over time, you can see things happen that didn't used to happen. And I feel like this month, there were some new trends. And I'll be interested to see if you pick them up as I go through these. I'll obviously mention them along the way of what am I seeing that I hadn't seen in past monthly episodes of Cards Under $50. There were two things that jumped out at me this month. Two things I was like, I don't remember that before. And I think that keeping tabs on what's happening, being informed, again, I know I use housing analogies all the time, but even if I'm not selling my house, even if I'm not looking to buy a new house, every once in a while, I like to check out what house values are doing. I like to know what's happening because if there's a sudden change, if there's a trend that suddenly happens, whether it be up or down or sideways or whatever, I just think being informed is good to know. So that is another big part of this. Now remember, I do 40 cards that sold during the month, the previous month, this month being the month of October, for under $50. And then I take a look at some of the bigger sales from October. Not cards that are the 10 biggest, but 10 that stood out to me. 10 card sales that happened during the month that I go, that one's kind of interesting. Now, this month, after putting this video together, and this one takes some time, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of digging, there's a lot of looking and searching and finding deals that I think are worthy of sharing. There is definitely something that happened this month, and I said, this one, this might be worthy of having a follow-up episode to talk about what's happening here. There were a few sales that happened this month, and I'm almost positive that this coming week, I'm going to dig deeper into that topic and what's actually going on, because it certainly struck me. All right? So that said, I've laid the groundwork. That's why we do this. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I like being up to speed on what's happening, but I also like making sure that we're playing in the pool of what most of us can afford, not just playing in the pool of what some of the whales can afford, but what normal people like us can afford as well. Let's take a look at 40 cards under $50 from the 1960s and 10 massive, big-time moonshot deals as well. And don't forget, I'll be sharing my 5 most mind-blowing sales for the month. Let me know if I got those right. Let me know if yours are different. Let's check it out. Leading things off, the 1960 Topps Rival All-Stars Mantle and Boyer in an SGC 5 for $48.77. How about a Joe Torre rookie card from the 62 Topps set? An SGC 5.5 sold for $48.17. Love that picture of him. Love the rookie trophy cup. Very, very cool card that a lot of Yankee collectors would want. How about a 68 Topps Roberto Clemente in an SGC 4? That is a nice looking card for $48.09 from one of the best right fielders of all time. And then another 67 Topps Roberto Clemente. This one also in an SGC 4, sold for $48. Really well centered, really good eye appeal. That seems like a fantastic card, a fantastic deal. We got another Roberto Clemente, this time a 61 Topps in an SGC 4 again for $48. Again, really good eye appeal. The color on it's fantastic. 3 Roberto Clemente cards in 4s that are really nice looking cards. That's interesting. How about a 66 Topps Sandy Koufax in an SGC 4.5 for $46.55? Again, a very good looking, very high eye appeal card. Jim Palmer's a guy who's not on a lot of people's radars, but if you look at his awards, his record, his ERA, he's one of the all-time best right-handed pitchers there ever was. And his rookie card for $46 in a PSA 4. We got another Sandy Koufax and another 4, this time an SGC 4. This card sold for $46 from the difficult 62 Topps set. Hard to find those in high grade. That's a gorgeous card. Then we got a 68 Topps Rod Carew in an SGC 5. This is his second card. Again, I love those rookie trophy cards. This sold for $45.07 for one of the best contact hitters that ever lived. We got a Jim Cott rookie card. Don't forget, he is a Hall of Famer. Has a ton of gold gloves as a pitcher. This is a PSA 5 from the 60 Topps set for $45. We got another Willie Mays, this time a 61 MVP in an SGC 3. Great centering, great eye appeal. I really like the MVP cards in the 61 set. There are some very, very cool ones. There's a cool Banks, a cool Campanella. How about this card? A 63 Topps Pride of the NL. I've always loved this card. It's a tough condition card, really well centered. A PSA 4. That's my first mind-blowing pick, that a Stan Musial and Willie Mays card could be selling for that much. How about a 63 Topps Bomber's Best? He got Mantle in the middle, flanked by 2 of his favorite teammates. An SGC 3 sold for $43. Then we got a 63 Topps Deacon Jones. This is a brutal set to find centered, a brutal set with the edges and the corners. This is a SGC 3 that sold for $42.76 of one of the best NFL players ever. Speaking of, we've got a 1960 Topps Bart Starr. This would be his 4th card in an SGC 6.5. Now, it's a little OC left to right, but it is very, very sharp, and only $42 for a legendary quarterback. Then we got the 67 Topps Pinups. This is a super cool small poster of Hank Aaron, and that one blows my mind. A PSA 3, just to get it graded and oversized like that, would be about $41, which is what it sold for. Then we got a 63 Topps Peel Off, Hank Aaron. This is an SGC 5. Now, these cards are tough because they're super thin, so getting them in good condition is difficult, and that one got a 5. We got a 69 Topps Willie Mays. This is an SGC 4. Sold for $41. Again, we're seeing lots of the all-time best players in grades of 4. Grades of 4 for under $50. How about a 68 Topps Gale Sayers? His 3rd card. This is a PSA 6. Really well centered. Really good eye appeal. A recent grade. And it was $40. for one of the best running backs ever. We got another Willie Mays. This one a 1960 Topps All-Star in an SGC 2.5, but the centering is tremendous and the color is fantastic. It sold for $40 in the high eye appeal card. Willie Mays, Clemente, Koufax. Here's a Duke Snider. This one is a 1960 Leaf. Yes, Leaf. They had that year that they made some very cool cards. This Duke Snider's a PSA 6 and sold for $39.99. We got another Willie Mays. This one is 67 Topps in an SGC 3. Little OC left to right, but for $39.98 and an image like that and a clarity like that, that is a super cool card of Willie Mays. Another guy that's a finalist on the Veterans Committee for the Hall of Fame this year is Dick Allen. This is his third card, a 66 Topps in an SGC 7 that sold for $39.85. We got another Roberto Clemente, another good grade Roberto Clemente. This is an SGC 6 of the 68 Topps game. This card sold for $39. There was a time when this started that you wouldn't see Roberto Clemente cards, and we've already seen several. What is going on there? How about a 68 Topps Tom Seaver, my favorite Tom Seaver card, in an SGC 5 that sold for $38. Next up, we've got another one of the 1960 Leaf cards, this time a Brooks Robinson, who we recently lost. This is an SGC 6, really cool looking card. I really think that this set is somewhat overlooked and forgotten, but it has some of the all-time best players. We got a 68 Topps Joe Namath. Now, Joe Namath may not be one of the best players of all time, but he's definitely one of the coolest and most popular. And this card, early in his career, an SGC 4 for $33.13. A 1961 Post Serial Hank Aaron. If you're looking for kind of an oddball set of the 1960s or 50s that's still affordable, the Post Serial cards would definitely scratch that itch. That Aaron was $32. And then we've got a John Havlicek rookie card. That blows my mind that you can buy a John Havlicek rookie card from the 69 Topps set in an SGC 4 for $32. A very, very cool card with Hank Aaron and Ernie Banks. The 63 Topps Power Plus card in an SGC 4.5 sold for $32. Next up, another Clemente. When I started doing this, there might have been one Clemente card. This is about the 6th different Clemente. I don't know what's going on there, but it's something to watch. Maybe it's time to buy Clemente. This is $31 for the 69 SGC 3. How about a 61 Topps Willie McCovey in a PSA 6? To me, this is one of McCovey's best looking cards. It's his second year card. His rookie card is in the 60 set. And this card sold for $30. How about the 64 Aura Vision Sandy Koufax in a PSA 5? My buddy Jason at Everyday Card Collector, he's been putting this set together just to get an oversized item like that graded from PSA is going to be probably more than what it sold for. How about a 69 Topps Johnny Unitas in an SGC 5? I absolutely love the 69 Topps football set. This SGC 5 Unitas sold for $26. A 61 Topps Stamp. These are very cool. These are still affordable as well, kind of a off the beaten trail type thing. And this Yogi Berra in an SGC 6 sold for $26. A 64 Philadelphia Johnny Unitas in an SGC 5 for $23.02. It blows my mind that you can buy a centered, nice-looking copy of Johnny Unitas from a card this early in his career for $8 over the price of grading. How about a 68 American Oil panel? Now, usually these are perforated down the middle. This one's not. It's got Gale Sayers and Babe Ruth in an SGC 3.5, $22.50. Another card that's got Willie Mays on it, the 60 Topps Master and Mentor. The PSA 5 card sold for $22.50. Again, any card with Willie Mays on it in a PSA 5 for $22.50 seems like a steal. And this one hurt It hurt my heart, guys. A 69 Topps Greg Nettles rookie card in an SGC 5 sold for $12.50. The guy's just a handful of home runs short of 400. One of the best third basemen of all time. How about a 62 Topps Sonny Jurgensen in an SGC 5? This is a brutal tough set. The 62 Topps football cards, $8.38. So let's look at some of the moonshots. The big sales, and a couple of these legit blew my mind. The first one definitely falls into that category. A 67 Topps Phillies rookies. It's a PSA 10, but $4,038. Now, if that card had a 7 on it, would it sell for $4,038? My goodness. What is happening? How about a 65 Topps Joe Namath? It's a PSA 4 for the card. The auto received a 9. It's an autographed Joe Namath rookie card for $4,475. Now look at this. A 1969 Topps Ken Holtzman PSA 10, $6,875. I get the PSA registry. I get it. But what are we doing? How about a 68 Topps Mets rookies? We got the Jerry Koosman and the Nolan Ryan. A PSA 8 sold for $8,211. How about a Carl Yastrzemski rookie from the 1960 Topps set? This PSA 8.5 sold for $9,900. Check out the centering and the color on that card. That is a stunning card. Then we've got a 63 Topps Pete Rose rookie card. This is a BVG 8.5, sold for $10,000. Really well centered. I know it's a tough card to find centered, but $10,000 for that one. Then we've got a 1965 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 8.5. It's an older holder. $10,101 for the 65 Mickey Mantle. How about a beautiful 61 Fleer Wilt Chamberlain rookie card in a PSA 7? It's a little off center left to right, maybe 70-30 or so. But it sold for $13,790. Then we've got the 1964 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 9. This card sold for $34,000. That is an older label. That is one of the earlier generation labels. And then last but not least, a 68 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 9 sold for $42,000. I understand that high-grade cards are in demand. I get it. But tens of commons going for thousands of dollars and 9 Mickey Mantles going for $42,000, where if it was a 7, it would be way, way less. I think this is getting a little carried away.